Everyone is far more red pilled than they think. They just don't want to admit it because the red pill space has become some cringe identity alpha male clouded environment, right? But for the most part, everyone is red pilled. People just don't want to call it out for what it is, and that's reality. My main aim at the end of this video is to convince you that you are far more red pilled than you think, and to also persuade you of how it's not a bad ideology to follow. It's not a bad ideology to follow so long as you're willing to follow it properly. So if you believe that men should pay on the first date, that's traditional. If you believe that men should be providers, leaders, and take initiative, that's traditional. If you believe that women should be submissive, supportive, feminine, nurturing, then that's traditional. See, a lot of people already adopt the mentality or adopt the ways of gender roles, right? That's what they accept as a general standard. And they don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. Now, I would say typically if you're watching podcasts or if you're watching short form content material, you're going to stumble across a few women with very strong opinions. And I say strong opinions because of the way they portray them, not because of what they're actually saying. So they'll say things like, I want a real man. And you'll have a few thousand guys in the comments talking and laughing. But realistically, I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with what these women are saying. They'll say they want a man who's financially stable, who takes care of them, who is educated, who is driven, who is ambitious. And that is the general standard for any man, especially financial stability. That's the most important one of them all. I would say everything that I've just listed are the traditional masculine traits, but guys also do this. They don't want a woman who's loud, argumentative, ratchet. That's the biggest one. Nobody can stand anybody who's ratchet. They don't want anybody who's like this, even promiscuous. They're not looking for that. They're looking for loyalty. They're looking for someone who's nurturing, someone who's soft, someone who's loving. This idea that people no longer respect or value gender roles is nonsense. For anybody who holds this belief, people will always believe in gender roles, even if they don't voice their opinions openly and outly. Now, everything that I've said has sounded good on paper. Everything that I've said, I've been straight as an arrow, right? I've said things that people already know. Now, here's where we start to go off the rails a bit as a society, because there is a lot of entitlement and a lot of childish tendencies, okay? Now, for the most part, people expect things that they don't deserve. People expect the full benefits of a traditional relationship dynamic without putting in the work of being a traditional person themselves. And it's crazy. It's crazy. They believe out of nowhere that they will receive their quote-unquote ideal partner, right? Who is feminine, who is masculine, without becoming the living embodiment of either of those things. How crazy is that? That's the idea of manifestation. And I hate people who adopt this mentality. I can't say I hate them, but I hate that mentality. Let me say that. The idea that you should just sit there, or that you can just sit there, and things will magically appear, things will magically happen for you. Because that works out so well in the real world, right? In reality, that works out so well. It's one thing to want something and then work towards it, but it's another thing to say, I deserve this just because, and then sit on your backside and then do nothing. I've never understood that mentality, and I don't think I want to understand that mentality either, quite frankly. But coming back to what I was saying, even men, right, they demand so many things. I think manifestation is more of a woman thing, but then men, they have so many demands, and quite frankly, we do. They're very simple demands at that, but they're demands nevertheless. If you're broke, you're fat, you're lazy, you're unambitious, you're not driven, if you're sitting at home all day long, watching adult content, doing nothing with your life, you command no respect, and therefore you're not deserving of the things that you're asking for. It's that simple. Why on God's sweet green earth should anybody bend the rules for you if you're not representing the very thing that you want? Why should anybody do that? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And then these same people, these entitled people who don't get what they want, They try and push their message of pessimism onto everybody else. They project it. You even see this with top influencers, right? They're at the top of their game. They've made the money. They've elevated. They have the status. They might even have the looks. So all three of these things paired can be a dangerous combo. You can get practically whatever you want in this world, right? They're at the forefront of the world stage. They have the voice to project onto others. And you'd think for the most part it'd be a positive message, but sometimes it can't be. I understand that sometimes you have to inject your personality into things, right? But these people will tell you that women nowadays, that men nowadays, they're trash. The general standard of men and women is below par. It's below what it used to be. These people, they will portray the same message over and over and over again. Even though a lot of you know this already, you're refusing to acknowledge it, but your experiences are completely subjective. To some women that I've met, I'm a great thing. To some women, I'm the worst thing. And the same goes for maybe you. Some people that you've met, they say you're a great guy. Some people say that you're a pretty bad guy. They have mixed opinions on you. And women work in the exact same way for the guys who are watching this, right? The more you surround yourself with a certain type of woman, that will become your general standard of woman, right? So if I'm to go to the club each and every single day, maybe not every day, but every weekend, right? And I'm to hang around the same kinds of women over and over and over again, I'm going to be exposed to the same character over and over and over again. And that will become my general standard, because your frequency is what you frequently see. It really is. That will start to become a reflection of you. You are what you consume, quite literally. And the same works for women too. I think we need to call it out for what it really is, because nobody, quite frankly, is going to the club just to dance nowadays. It's all about who can sleep with who can get into whose pants. Everybody is there for some kind of attention, some kind of validation. That's what people crave nowadays. And then they complain about the general standard of partners. Why aren't people loyal? Why are people promiscuous? Why aren't people attracted to me in some way? It's because you solidified your environment. You've built a foundation off of your environment. You going clubbing every single weekend. You hanging around promiscuous girls. You're laying out your foundation. You're laying out your standard. And now you're wondering why your worldview is corrupted, why you're so pessimistic when it comes to the opposite gender. I think accountability nowadays, and I mean extreme accountability, is something that's skipped over far too often. Because the reason why you can't find your partner isn't to do with the world. It's completely on your shoulders. It's absolutely 1000% your fault. And a lot of people aren't willing to look at themselves. It's crazy because they can be so self-centered, project the message that all women are this and all women are that, vice versa, right? But then they can't just look at themselves for a second, where they are and who they are, and decide, you know what, I may have been the problem. Everyone has standards until those very same standards are pushed onto them. The world doesn't work that way. It doesn't. And I want you guys to be in a more optimistic mindset than a pessimistic mindset, because optimists, they rule the world, not pessimistic people. That doesn't get you anywhere. If you want to attract a certain type of partner, you need to become the person who attracts them naturally, not demanding everything whilst bringing nothing to the table. Once again, that is entitlement. A lot of modern day dating problems come from people trying to receive awards that they don't deserve. People want exceptional outcomes with average habits, and that has become the general standard of the population. Everybody is entitled. That's why there's a whole gender war going on. The moment I changed my environment was the moment I could finally shake my foundation and start surrounding myself with the right people. And I've been fortunate enough to meet women who are pretty decent, who are well-grounded, who represent the things that I want. But until you do that, until you take a leap of faith and courage and really start trying to do that, things aren't going to change for you. Because as it currently stands, right, as it stood for me, the person that I wanted wouldn't want me back. And that might be the truth for some of you right now. That might be reality. This is your foundation right now. And this is your expectation of women. This is your general standard of women. Because your foundation isn't to where it needs to be, all the way up here, it's all the way down here, you're going to end up settling for a woman who's below your expectations. All because your general standard of woman is so ridiculously low. It is so ridiculously low. All because you refused to get out of your current environment. All because you allowed all the outside opinions to come in and change your perception. If you just walked your own path, changed your environment, then things would be looking a whole lot better for you. This isn't me fear-mongering. This will be your reality if your general standard of woman does not change. Yes, there may be some promiscuous ones out there, and yes, they may get the most publicity solely because of the fact that they are promiscuous. But there's definitely a few good ones out there as well. You just have to change your social circles, and then you'll find out that the world isn't such a bad place after all. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. Share it to a friend or family member who you think may need to see this video. If you guys want to join a community full of like-minded people where we discuss topics like this, I'll leave a link down below to the Kaizen Club. Feel free to join. I'd love to have absolutely all of you in there. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, God bless, and please, for the love of God, don't be entitled. Just don't be entitled. That's all I'm going to say.